Hello, Susan. I can't see myself yet. Can you see me and hear me?
I can see you and I can hear you, but you're kind of freezing up a little bit. We are already live streaming and recording, and I have the document is viewable on the YouTube channel.
I see that. Okay. Great.
Your video is definitely lagging.
Okay, I think I'm gonna pop out and pop back in and see if that does us any good. I'll be right back. Hi, Susan, Vera, and Laura. Can you guys see and hear me this time?
Yep, you just popped up. Hear you fine, and you just popped up on video, but it was a little delayed.
Yeah,
It appears to still be lagging some with your head movement and your mouth not matching your words as you speak. It's a little bit of a lag.
I had a terrible time with Teams this morning. It kept kicking me out.
Okay. Well, I'm going to mute my camera for now. Hopefully that will mean that I won't lose any audio.
And we are streaming and recording. The YouTube channel is up.
Perfect.
Scott, this is Susan. We are live streaming and recording, and I do have responses from all committee members that they will be on the call. And I did inform Ray of the same.
Great, thank you.
And Scott, this is Charmin. I'm just muting my video for right now because it seems to be acting up a little bit, just to make sure that I don't lose the phone connection.
Sounds good. Thank you.
This is Michelle Schoen. I'm just testing my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Great. Thanks, Charmin. Thank you. I'm having computer issues. I'm at Kansas City trying to get ready to go to the Big 12 tournament, and so I'm in a hotel room and hotel Wi-Fi. It's being very frustrating, but I was finally able to get on with my phone.
Well, I hate to say this, but it sounds like it's a problem that's going around because a couple of us have been having some challenges today here in Topeka as well.
Well, yeah, they sent me to the Cox twice, and both times I got disconnected even from the Cox support. So finally I just gave up and thought I'd use my phone. So I'm sorry if it's if I sound funny. You know, I don't have much picture either, but hopefully it'll be okay.
Just to let you know, you do not sound funny. You sound just fine.
Great,
clear.
thanks.
Uh-huh.
Scott, this is Steve Lowen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And Nancy Robinson, our early childhood education director, is with me in the office. So we're both, unfortunately, she's under my picture as well.
Hello.
Hello. It's no problem at all. Welcome.
Hey, Charmin, it's Chris Cannon down at Cali. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we can.
Hey, great. I also have Chief Vince Warren from Winfield Fire and EMS and Chief Stuart Casaboom from Ark City Fire and EMS with me in the office.
Great. Great. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Ray. I'm on the line now.
Welcome, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Mark Hess. I'm on as well.
Great. Welcome.
What other TEA members do we have on the line?
This is Deb McCulka, and I've joined.
Good. Do we have Cindy on the line?
I don't believe so yet. This is Scott.
What about Mike Mean?
No, sir.
Did someone call him, wake him up from his nap?
Well, we're all here. The meeting, he's got a couple minutes still.
Cindy has joined the call.
Good.
Hello, Mike. We can see you.
Can't see you, Miss Chambers.
I know, I apologize. I'm keeping it muted here for a second. Maybe it won't mess up. I go ahead and hit it.
There you go. See your small. Gang all here.
Yes, sir. Everybody's here.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. In the interest of time, we'll progress on. Just a kind of review of the agenda today. We'll have a review and approval of the minutes. We have a couple new programs, one of which is from Cali Community College, Emergency Medical Technician, Flint Hills Tech, Early Childhood Education. And then we have a program from Cali Community College that was tabled from our January 5th meeting, graphic imagery, and a couple of Promise Act approvals and Excel and CTE approvals. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the February 16th meeting.
Yeah, Mike, this is Ray. I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ray.
I second. This is Deb.
Thank you, Deb. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the February 16th committee meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you very much. Moving into item 2 on the agenda, 2A, new programs. Sharman or April, I'll turn it over to you for a summary of Cali Community College's EMT technician.
Thank you, Chair Bean. Cali Community College is requesting approval of a 24 credit hour Certificate A and a 39 credit hour Technical Certificate B in Advanced Emergency Medical Technician. The accreditation is required for this program through the Kansas Board of EMS, and upon completion, students will sit for the Advanced Emergency Medical Technician certification through that same board. Cali Community College explained that the request to expand the current Emergency Medical Services paramedic program and to develop this certificate program was received originally from the Arkansas City Fire EMS Department and the Winfield Fire and EMS Department. And once development started, there were additional local departments that stated support as well. Regarding the most recent Perkins Local Needs Assessment, Cali Community College indicated the data provided for paramedic included 73 concentrators with 148 openings. The Lightcast job posting analytics from January 2022 through January 2023, there were approximately 2,000 total postings. 643 were unique. These were advertised statewide for emergency medical technicians with an annual median advertised salary of $29,900. This occupation is on the most recent high demand occupation listing from the Department of Labor here in Kansas. 10 letters of industry support were included with the application. Supports included commitments to serve on the advisory board, providing internships, and interviewing program graduates. 13 institutions currently offer a similar program based on SIP. And that data from the 2021 KTIP report is included in your packet. We've also expanded that data just a little bit to include recent programs that have also been either approved or started, but for which we don't yet have data. The college plans to begin the proposed program in the summer of 2023, estimating initial costs at approximately $18,400, $12,600 for one existing part-time adjunct, and $5,800 or so for clinical coordination and lab assistance. The proposed program was subject to the 10-day comment period, during which no formal comments were received. And we do have representatives from Cali on the line, and we'd stand for questions.
Thank you, Charmin. Any additional thoughts or feedback from Cali Community College? I didn't know if Chris or somebody else was on the call.
Hey, thank you. This is Chris Cannon with Cali College. I wanted to thank Charmin for her feedback when we developed the packet to go in for approval. That was very helpful. I've also got Chief Warren and Chief Cassaboom from Winfield Fire EMS and Ark City Fire EMS here in the office with me in support of the program, if you have any questions for local industry. So we're just excited to offer a program that is local, where we can build local and retain local kids here in our area. So what we see a lot is we have, if we can get applicants in, they're typically from out of the area. They'll come in for a short time and then leave the job. So we would like to build this up from our EMT program when the kids are in high school into this AEMT program. And then finally, later on, what we're looking at developing is the first of its kind in Kansas, which is an AEMT bridge program into the paramedic program. That would be a shortened length, cost, and requirements to graduate as a paramedic if they come through our AEMT program. So that's my statements, if there's any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Any additional questions or committee members?
This is Ray. I would be curious to hear from the two chiefs in the room, their thoughts and about the need for this program.
Let's see, your camera on or off?
Your camera's off.
Okay. So this is Chief Cassaboom with Ark City. Currently, right now, we're really having an issue. We have an extremely young department. The ex-chief that was there kind of started hiring from all over the place, and we're trying to get things back. Now, in our area, in the rural area, you know, we deal with a lot of issues such as, not a lot of things bring people to our area. I mean, there's not a lot to offer young kids. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the younger kids that have homegrown, their parents are there, their grandparents are there, and things like that, so that we can keep them in there, train them on, you know, our dime, but want them to stay there long enough that they get the education, they get the years of experience, and they're running these departments and they're retiring from these departments. And that's where we're having the hardest time. So right now we're dealing with an extremely young department that really doesn't have much. Some of them are EMTs. Actually, the majority of ours are EMTs, and we have about 4 paramedics right now. Now, I would love to be able to just send all my guys over and get the paramedic course right now, but it's just not feasible with the amount of people that we have and the runs that we're running. We're doing around 3,000 calls a year in our little area. So by putting more of them into the AEMT class also allows those kids to know whether or not they want to go forward, but it is a great stepping stone, number one, and to help the paramedics out, instead of just, getting caught with just a BLS unit, we have a little bit more advanced work so that these kids, we're not stuck on that area. So for us, man, it would be a great help, an extremely large source that we could pull from, that the kids that are already there are going to be staying with us anyways. So, and I'll let Chief Warren talk to you guys as well.
Yeah, Chief Warren here from Winfield Fire EMS. Chief Gaspin was right on the money. I agree with everything he said. He's right on it. The medics are hard to find. They're hard to find right now, and the medics that we do have are getting bombarded with calls. So the EMTAs, to me, would help them out. They'd help them on those calls, alleviate some of those calls that they're having to run all the time, and then an EMT basic can't run. So they're there to aid the paramedic in the medical necessity items that we can give the patients in our community. So, yeah, we're in full support of the program.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Any additional questions from committee members? If
Mike,
not,
this is Deb. Mike,
Yes,
it's
sorry.
Deb. And no, I was just going to say that we know demand is strong, and I also thought that the charts and the information on the high wage, in addition to the high demand, and the success that the programs that have been doing that have had the other programs are having a pretty good success rate with graduates and employment. I thought all of those indicators looked really strong.
Would you like to make a motion, Deb?
I'd be happy to make a motion, Mike, that we approve the Cowley County Community College request for the advanced EMT, emergency medical technician program, certificate program A and B, it looks like.
And I would be happy to second that.
Thank you both for seconding that. All in favor of approving Cowley Community College's request for a technical certificate A and B in advanced emergency medical technician, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you, and thank you, committee members, and thank you, Callie and the chiefs, for joining the call today. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the effort of working local and meeting some local need there.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
All right,
So that-
Charmin, we'll turn our attention to Flint Hills Technical College request for a early childhood education tech certificate B and associate applied science also.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Flint Hills Technical College is requesting that 34 technical credit hour certificate B. I think we have somebody who's maybe not muted. Can everybody, let's see here. I'm not sure. There it goes. Okay. Sorry about that. We're looking at a 34 credit hour technical certificate B and a 65 credit hour Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Education. I would mention too that no accreditation is required for the program, but upon completion, students will sit for the Child Development Associate Certification. Flint Hills Technical College mentioned that the program was developed through the institution's involvement with the Emporia Chamber of Commerce and the Ignite Emporia Strategic Plan. Additionally, looking at September 2022 data from Child Care Aware of Kansas, the number of children who need child care in Lyon County was 791. As well as an additional development, Emporia State University announced the pending closing of its on-campus child care center for August of 2023. This will create a void for an additional 60 children. Regarding the most recent Perkins Regional Needs Assessment, the data indicated 44 concentrators studying the program at the secondary level and none at the post-secondary level, while 99 workers were needed. And additionally, the need to reduce the barrier of quality childcare for the success of all of their college students was identified there. Crosswalking this particular zip code, we found 2 occupations that this matches up to. One is the preschool teachers accept special education and child care workers. The Lightcast job postings information is in your packet, but I would mention that both of those occupations are high demand occupations. 4 letters of industry support were included, pledging supports including recruiting students for the program. They are all also offering space and assisting to facilitate on-site observation opportunities, and then prioritizing students when interviewing and hiring for programs around that area. 5 letters of support from high schools were also included. There are currently 15 institutions offering a similar program. And again, that AY21 KTIP data is included in your packet, along with a mention of a couple of programs that have recently been added. I would also just point out that Flint Hills Technical College mentioned that they have become involved in collaboration with EQIP. It's the Early Childhood Quality Instructional Partners group. It was brought together in 2003, and that group decided on 7 common courses. Flint Hills has compared the courses offered by other 2-year programs and aligned the core curriculum to meet these courses. They plan to begin the program in the fall of 2023, estimating the startup costs at $97,798 total. This includes a little over $68,000 for 1 new full-time faculty member, and then additional costs for equipment, tools and supplies, and software and so forth. The proposed program was subject also to the 10-day comment period, during which no formal comments were received. And I know that we also have Flint Hills representatives on the call. We would stand for questions.
Thank you, Charmin. Any additional comments from the team at Flint Hills Tech?
This is Steve Lowen. As you're aware, I mean, this is a workforce issue. We have lots of new initiatives that are coming our way, or currently here are coming our way, and for a lot of folks, just being able to provide the workers that are needed in those other businesses and industries. Childcare is such a critical issue for parents being able to work. So yeah, I don't know that I have anything more to say. Nancy May Robinson, our new Director of Early Childhood Education, may have some additional comments.
This is Nancy Robinson. Just in going out to high schools and in speaking with people who are actually already in the field of early childhood education, I hear a lot of comments about the need for taking courses, both for the younger students. They are feeling like maybe they aren't quite prepared to do this, to possibly open up a home childcare facility or work in a childcare facility, and they feel like they need some education, some guidance, which is what our program would provide. And the people who are already working in early childhood settings are asking for courses so that they can continue to have their continuing education units, as well as step up in the pay scale. And so I found that as I've talked to people, not just in Emporia, but in the greater Lyon County area and in the surrounding counties, that there is a definite interest to be able to take the program and do some online courses and any kind of coursework that we could offer to help increase the abilities that we have.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Steve. Any questions from the committee?
This is Member Hess.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, sorry, Ray. I just had a quick question. I'm jumping a little bit forward, but I was just looking down at the fees earlier on the information, and I was curious about any thoughts as far as that, $635 fees as being a potential barrier for someone to enroll into a program like this, where it's not particularly a high wage position. Is there any thoughts or other options on, mitigating some of that cost for the students?
Well, we definitely have looked into the Kansas Promise Act as being an option for our students. Plus, we have some local people who are interested in doing some scholarships for that. The students who go through and do it at the high school level, we could work with them to make sure we can mitigate some of those costs. And we've been really pleased at the outpouring, excuse me, of our community, of people being willing to help with those things.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is
Right.
Ray. Question. Yeah, one of the questions I had was, tell me more about this Child Development Associate certification. Who requires that? Who sponsors that? Not familiar with it.
Okay. Well, the CDA is basically, it's just another exit point. So the current program that we are looking at is for the technical certificate and then an associate's degree. And the CDA would actually come before the technical certificate, and it requires a certain number of, I believe, like 148 hours of time in seat. So basically, when you're taking a 3 credit hour course and you're there for 15 weeks, that's 45 hours worth. A CDA is recognized not just nationwide, but also worldwide. And it's a great little stepping stone for students to get into the program, or not just the program, but to get into the world of early childhood education. And it helps them to become more familiar with whatever the core competencies are that are in their state.
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another question I had was, you noted that Emporia State University, they're closing their on-campus child care center.
Mm-hmm.
If there's such a need, I mean, are they also offering a similar program and they decided not to continue, or tell me more?
So Emporia State University obviously is a four-year university, or what we would typically call that. And up until recently, the only way to get an early childhood degree has been to get a master's degree in early childhood unified. As a matter of fact, that has just changed, and now they will be able to certify students for preschool through 6th grade. And they actually reached out to us today to ask about working with Flint Hills Technical College on an early childhood program to do a 2 and 2. The reason that they are closing down their childcare facility, I believe, has a lot to do with the fact that they are unable to completely staff it, and also decisions that were made with previous administration.
Okay. All right. And then I guess another question I have might be, Charmin, on the chart that you provided us, it doesn't tell me anything. And it's not your fault. I'm just curious. Why are, it's almost like there's, it's a blank chart. Why is that?
Well, so in some cases, there are less than 5 students even declared in some of these programs around the state. So as you then move your way across to the right, as far as graduates and those exiting and employed, there won't be the data there. Since this is 2021, again, you would be experiencing some of those effects then from COVID as well. But while we do have quite a few institutions offering the programs, we do obviously have a shortage of graduates becoming employed, and a lot of these students are pursuing additional education. So like when you look at the difference at Butler between your concentrators there, you've got some folks that are still pursuing additional education then at that point as well, that we don't have that separate column listed here.
All right.
So Sharman, a little bit of follow-up on that. I understand the small cell suspension, but what's the NA mean? Are there just no students enrolled in those particular university programs? Or?
For those particular ones, I wanted to start noting just for the sake of the discussion of this group. So they're at Northwest. They just started that program in academic year 23. Which ends this summer, the same in Salina. And so we don't have 2021 data there, obviously. But I did want to represent that we do have some additional programs that are being worked there.
That makes sense.
Mike, this is Deb. The closing of the on-campus child care center is something that just a few years ago, or maybe decades, I actually had the opportunity to do some of my teacher training and certification in early childhood at that child care center, or I assume it's in the same place as it was all that long ago. And it was great training. And I loved the time spent with the kids and at the center and the staff there. So I am sorry that in Emporia State that's being closed, because I thought it was a great resource for teacher training. I thought there's a high demand and there's a high need. We don't pay enough for this, or the pay is not nearly high enough for this, but it's critical. So I very much support this project or this program.
Deb, with your support.
Do you want me to do okay, I'll move again to that we recommend or we approve the recommend approval of the Flint Hills Technical College Early Childhood Education Program, Technical Certificate B, and an Associate of Applied Science.
This is Cindy. I second.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. All in favor of approving Flint Hills Technical College's Technical Certificate B and Associate of Applied Science, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mike, should I be saying on there that we want to put those on the agenda for the board meeting?
Yeah, good point.
Oh. No, I'm just saying, can I happily amend or something, or how do we do that?
Chair Bean, that was going to be my question for both of the programs that you approved. Would you like them on the TEA consent agenda or discussion?
Consent would be my preference. If there's an objection from a committee member, let's do it this way. If there's an objection to placing these two items on the consent agenda, speak now or forever hold your peace till our next committee meeting. So. All right, Ms. April and Sharman. Deb, I kind of had to chuckle. You are from the Midwest when you referred to it as a couple years ago, and that could mean decades. That could mean 2 weeks ago. That could mean a lot of things.
Well, it definitely was more than a year or two ago.
Well, yeah, you just graduated high school a couple years ago, didn't you?
That's right. You can tell by the gray in my hair.
All right, we'll turn our attention from the comedy to approving a program that was tabled from from our January meeting, I think. Sharman, I'll turn it over to you to talk about Cali Community College's graphic imaging and design certificate request.
Thank you. And as you mentioned, yes, the final program today is to revisit the request from Cali Community College to add a 21 credit hour technical certificate A in graphic imaging design. And yes, this was tabled from January. I would mention that we did not make any changes to your original issue paper until the very end, where we then added additional information for the committee to review that had been requested. That additional information includes labor demand and wage data for job postings with various occupation titles, additional information on jobs requiring related job skills, as well as an additional letter of support. And I know that we have several representatives from Cali Community College, but I know that President Schoen is also on the call and would stand for questions.
Thank you, Charmin. Any additional comments from Cali Community College or Cali College? Excuse me. My fault.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Bean. This is Michelle Schoen from Cali College, and just a few things I would like to share. First, thanks for letting us submit some additional documentation. We appreciate the opportunity. We tried to focus with our 6-page addendum on 3 major areas, as Charmin mentioned: labor demands, livable wage, and business and industry support. We did utilize Lightcast 4th quarter data for the information that we provided in our addendum. As you can see by the documentation, labor demands, 20% of the jobs in this field that are associated with this SIP were requiring an associate degree or lower, because I know that was a concern. When we say the graphic imaging design, people automatically think graphic design. And we are talking about something that is more technical skill related at an associate or lower level. One of the biggest factors in collecting data for this certificate and this report is all the different job titles related to the occupation. There's a list there for you on pages 1 and 2. You'll see all the different titles of occupations that are related to this particular SIP. The pre-press technician being one, but then it goes all into marketing, different levels of multimedia design, civil engineering. Again, it's the skills that are utilized in a lot of different occupations. For demand and wage, I actually did sign up for Indeed notifications for jobs. I've been getting them daily, but I think I already have a job to do right now filling in as president, so I'm not looking for a graphic imaging design position. One of the things I just reported there, just the 5 days from January 20th to the 24th. And I was kind of curious as to what I actually would be getting for those jobs. And you can see the locations, some in Wichita, some in the Kansas City area. But the main thing there is the skills required. I actually did a cut and paste directly from those job listings. And you can see that with those skills, very much into this Adobe Suite, Adobe Creative Cloud, Adobe InDesign, which is what this particular certificate is designed to do. So the main design or demand is for the skill set. And so you'll see on page 4, and it's highlighted for you, the major skill sets, and they all are using that Adobe product, which is part of the end result of this particular certificate. So demand, the other thing I want to say about demand really is our local school districts. This particular graphic imaging certification is something that fits in really nicely with the Kansas State Department of Education CTE Career Cluster Pathways. And so you'll see that information there as well on page 5. So the school districts within their career clusters implement these particular pathways, and then we articulate them into our courses. So it's important for us as a community college to be able to accept their coursework into these technical pathways. And that Cert A allows us to do that in a seamless manner. And then we did provide an additional letter of support from VIPE Media. If you're familiar with VIPE, they do create a lot of documentation, both print, website, and social media for athletic programs within the high schools. And then a few other businesses have expressed that interest of letters, but again, time commitment made that a little difficult. And I do have Mark Dykes, who is the faculty member that will be teaching in this program, and Janice Stover, who's serving as our interim VP of Academic Affairs, on the line as well, if you have any questions for them.
Any additional comments? Janice, welcome. Welcome, old friend.
Well, I think Dr. Schoen has covered most of what our additional things are. I will also indicate, just we're going through a webpage redesign that we're ready to launch on Monday. And we're asking for our own people in-house, about 15 people who really don't have any digital imaging experience, to be partly experts in their content area. So I'm seeing that these skills would have been very useful for me to have had some additional in just imaging design and page layout. So, who knows, when I retire, maybe I'll take Mark's program and learn a few. But yes, I think it is a valid program for anyone that's going to be working in an office, or they can build upon these skills and go further. So Mark Dykes, again, may have some other things to say since he's our lead, but I'd be happy to answer any other questions too.
Mark, do you want to say anything, or we can move to committee questions if?
Sure, I'll just jump in with one thing. So I'm looking to create a program that is going to create a well-rounded portfolio for the students. The portfolio is the thing that gets these kids their jobs. And I want to teach them the software and technology skills that they're going to need and get them ready to get out there in the field. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this program. And it's what I've been able to do with the Associate of Fine Arts we currently have. And I'm hoping to roll that into this certificate.
Thank you, Michelle, Mark. Any questions from committee members? And team from Cali, I do appreciate the additional information that you supplied. Thank you very much for that.
And Mike, this is Deb and Dr. Schoen and whoever else. That additional personal research was really interesting that you added. So kudos on some good research work there for finding contemporary or current needs and job postings.
Thank you.
And no, Mike, someone else can make the motion at this time.
This is Cindy. I'll make the motion to approve the graphic imaging design as presented.
Thank you, Cindy. Do we have are you all right placing that on the consent agenda, Cindy?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second to approve the technical? I think that was Ray. We'll take that as a second, Ray. If that wasn't you, please speak up. But been moved and seconded to approve Cali College's technical certificate A in graphic imaging and design and place it on the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. Thank you, friends from Cali.
Hey, Mike, this is Ray. Before we move on, I just want to commend Cali for having two people from the industry on the emergency med tech. I think it's very meaningful for these institutions, as often as they can, to have someone or someones from the industry to come and express their opinion and why these programs are so important to not only them, maybe their business, but also their community. So, Chris, if you're still on the line, thank you for bringing those individuals along in our committee meeting. I think it was quite meaningful.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I would echo that, Ray. Nice comment, and thanks for mentioning that. All right, committee, we'll move to recommendations for the Promise Act eligibility. Sharman, do you want to make any comments, or we just ready to roll on?
I think we'd be ready to roll on. Both of these programs that are requesting Promise Act eligibility do fall under the specified legislation.
So I would entertain a motion to approve Cali's College's Advanced Emergency Medical Technician Program and Flint Hills Technical College's Early Childhood Education Program.
Yeah, this is Ray, so move.
Thank you, Ray. Is there a second?
This is Cindy, second.
And Ray and Cindy, are you all right with this being on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Been moved and seconded to approve Cali and Flint Hills request for Promise Act eligibility. I probably should say for advanced emergency medical technician in early childhood education. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We get down to the fees. Any additional comments, Carmen, or?
No, I would just say we can either approve them together, or you can review them separately if you would like. You've got the breakout for both the Flint Hills Early Childhood Education and the Cali Community College Graphic Imaging Design. And then, as usual, you have the fees for similar programs included in the detail page afterwards.
So this is a random question. The knives, I'm thinking culinary. Maybe I should brush up on my graphic design, but can somebody explain knives?
We need X-Acto knives and utility knives for cutting out and mounting artwork.
Okay, makes sense.
So are the students being charged for those?
They're currently not. I was asked to put together a list of the things that they would need that typically they buy for themselves, but the idea was maybe at some point we could offer them a kit that they would just buy from us, but we haven't put anything in motion for that yet.
Okay. I'm just curious, does that, I guess a question for staff, do those items, would they fall under what's allowed?
Yes, they would. They would be those items that the student would purchase on their own. And these particular items then would, of course, be items that the students would take with them when they left.
Okay. But I guess my question, and I get a little confused on that part of it. If they are not supplying it themselves, are they being asked to pay for those?
What we do when it comes to the Excel and CTE fees, we have two categories, if you will. One are fees that are directly charged to the student by the institution. The second category is where these fees would fall, with the exception of the textbook. The institution isn't charging the student for these costs, but these are estimated costs that the student would incur to prepare themselves to bring these things themselves for the program. So these would be what we consider student expense. And for the sake of transparency, we do ask institutions to go ahead and submit those as well, so that when we're then taking all of this data and creating some of those lists that are shared publicly, students are prepared for these costs as well, even though they are not technically fees that the institution charges them directly. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Sure.
Any additional questions from the committee? No, I'll entertain. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
That final chart, similar fees for Excel and CTE, the disparity just jumps off the page, it seems like. And I'm not sure why we have such a wide range and disparity on what's the grand total. Is there an easy explanation on that?
I don't think that I would personally call it necessarily an easy explanation, but what I would offer up is one of the main areas that you see, just backing up to child care and support services management there. One of the main sources of the fees there can be the textbooks. And after I believe it was on our January call where we had discussed very briefly about the Advanced Emergency Medical Technician Program, about reaching out to institutions to find out if we could, some of the strategies that they've used to try to reduce those fees. One of the things that was shared with us, because we did do that reach out, we haven't heard back from everybody at that time. We didn't reach out about childcare services, but what I want to point out there with the textbooks, one of the things that we heard is that we have some institutions that are working to develop courses that have the open educational resources use for their textbooks and their course materials. I would offer that may very well be one of the main factors in that difference in textbooks, and that textbooks is one of the large components, if you will, there that is showing that disparity.
All right.
Right. Sharman probably chuckled because I ask her that every time we meet about whether it's childcare or graphic design, just the difference among institution and the fees they charge for the same program, basically. So
It's crazy. I mean, I have a lot of additional information to understand. You know, we one that was 1806 down to 64. I'd have to have a deeper discussion on this. Is not the time.
well, I'll entertain, thanks Ray and Sharman for your comments. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Excel and CTE fees for Flint Hills Technical College Early Childhood Education Program and Cali College Graphic Imaging and Design, and place them on the consent agenda.
Yeah, that's Ray.
Thanks, Ray. Do we have a second?
This is Deb, second.
Thank you, Deb. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion approved. So jumping back up to my agenda. All right, our next meeting is April 13th. And when's our next full meeting, Scott, Sharman, or April?
March 30th. It'll be a face-to-face here in Topeka.
So March 30th, and then our next committee meeting is the 13th. Any questions before we adjourn from committee members? All right, well, I want to thank committee members for joining, and especially thank the college and their representatives for joining today. And to Ray's point, the representatives from industry, that's very helpful. So we'll see you all in March, or in a week or two. Week, right, Scott?
I'll go with a couple. I think at least a couple.
Well, if Deb was talking, it could be decades. So.
Good point.
All right, thank you guys. We'll call
Thanks
the
all.
meeting adjourned. Call the meeting
Thank you.
adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.